रमज़ान के तौर पे आदाब फरमाते हैं. Pir Ziya Inayat Khan Ji is a scholar and a teacher of Sufism in the lineage of his grandfather, Inayat Khan. He is the president of the Inayati Order and the founder of Suluk Academy, a school of contemplative study and branches in the United States and Europe. Brothers and sisters, please put your hands together for Pir Ziya Inayat Khan Ji, Inayati Order, to address the gathering.
Namaste and Salamu Alaikum. Kanha Shanti Vanam. I can hardly imagine a more perfect place for the convening of this Global Spirituality Mahotsav. Imagine that just 8 years ago, this land was barren. It was dust. And now we see all of this, the result of the care given to the land by the Venerable Daji and the Heartfulness community. It's something of a miracle. This stadium is impressive, but to me, much more impressive are the gardens here, all of the trees that have been planted here, all of the endangered plants that have been collected here, the cultivation that is happening here so that this Vanam can truly be a living garden. Daji has brought endangered species here, and when trees are going to be cut down, he has them dug up and planted here so that they may live on. This can be a paradigm for the whole country and for the whole world. But I want to say that here we find not only the visible garden, but we find invisible gardens. The Sufis speak of 4 spiritual gardens. The first of these is called the Garden of Deeds. And this is the place where you find again everything that you have put out into the world. The world is a dome. Whatever we say re-echoes and comes back to us. It's karma. If you want to find generosity, be generous. If you want to find kindness, be kind. Whatever you bring to the world, sooner or later, will circle back and return to you. But we have to be careful when we cultivate our garden of deeds, not to take pride in our deeds. May it be that the left hand doesn't know what the right hand has given. The great Hazrat Rabia Basri used to walk around with a bucket of water in one hand and a torch in the other hand. And they said, "Why are you carrying these things?" She said, "I want to burn down the garden of paradise, and I want to quench the fires of hell, so that those who worship you will worship you for your own sake and not for any reward." And so we move beyond the garden of deeds, and we come to the garden of the friends of God. This is the garden of the legacy of the holy prophets, the sages, who have brought wisdom to this world. In this garden, we seek to follow in their footsteps and to realize that although these great beings may come from many different traditions, they all ultimately bring one message, the message of the divine consciousness that is seeking its fulfillment in our lives and in this world. The great Sufi Khwaja Kharagani said, "The one who spends a day without harming anyone, that person has spent the day with the Prophet." We come close to the prophets when we live a life of service. But we go further and we come then to the garden of the names of God. The divine being is known by many names. Whichever name one chooses, if one gives one's whole heart to it, one will be lifted up by it. And there is a garden in the invisible world where the angels plant trees whenever human beings intone the name of God. One day someone saw that the angel wasn't watering the tree anymore and wasn't caring for it anymore. And they asked, "Why is that tree neglected in this garden?" And the angel answered, "That human being on earth has stopped reciting the name. They're not glorifying the name. And until then, it won't be possible to nurture this garden." That is the possibility that exists for all of us, to grow these trees in the garden of the invisible world with fullness of love, dedicating ourselves to the glorification of the one to whom we belong. And then there is a fourth garden. It's the garden of the one. A seeker went to that door, and a voice answered at the door, "Who is there?" And the seeker answered, "I am here, beloved." The voice answered, "Then go away." The seeker went away, and for long years searched and meditated, and finally returned. And once again the voice asked, "Who is there?" And the seeker answered, "You are here." And the seeker entered. And there was no seeker and no sought. There was no lover or beloved. There was only the one forever and ever. May this garden of Kanha Shanti Vanam continue to flourish under the benevolent guidance of Daji. May the gardens of our own lives flourish, the garden of deeds, the garden of the friends of God, the garden of the divine names, the garden of the one. May these gardens proliferate throughout this world so that we all live in paradise. Amen.
Thank you so much, sir.